Welcome back. You're watching KTN Business Today. Of course, I am Ashley Mazuri, and as I promised earlier, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship issues. And joining me in studio right now to steer that conversation is Reuben Kimani, who is the CEO of Username Investments. Thank you very much for making time to join us here on KTN Business Today. So I'll just start by asking you, Username started as an ICT company and then later changed to property. What made the change?
Thank you, Ashley, for inviting me for this session.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful. Username started as an ICT business somewhere in 2010, but changed to real estate because the founders had interest in real estate.
Okay.
So because of passion and interest, we found a gap that we needed to fill. We were focusing so much on the majority of the population, people who have been over a long period of time not being catered for. We are talking about majority who are leaving our universities, majority who are leaving our high schools and colleges.
Yes.
People who are just starting their first job, basically someone earning maybe between 20 and 50,000. We ask ourselves, what property can this person be able to own in Kenya?
Yeah.
And if you look at the prices, 6 million, for houses, land worth $1 million shilling, we knew it was not possible. I was employed.
What advice can you give to them?
One of the things I would say, property is one of the segments where you get the biggest return as compared to other instruments of vehicles of investment.
Yeah.
If you look at stocks, if you look at unit trust, if you look at government bonds and treasury bill, property gives you the biggest.
Okay.
So I would encourage someone to really consider property because there is a big future. You look at urbanization, we are adding 0.5 million people to our urban centers every year. You look at population growth, 1 million people are being added to our Kenyan population every year. Most of these people are coming to our urban centers. The question is, where are these people going to live? And that's where the opportunity is. So the moment you invest in potential properties, you're able to get so much value. So you have to encourage yourself. And the first thing to do, start saving money. If you need to go to a bank, especially a SACCO, maybe, start there. Because by the time you put enough money to invest in a certain property, that property will be 3 times the value, especially in highly growing areas. So put money aside, encourage yourself, and start planning, especially this 2018.
Yes.
People have resolution.
Yes.
Plan to have a property this year by putting all your money together to be able to own at least one. Start somewhere with baby steps. Even if you get 10,000, it's a property we are doing in Tinka where you pay 15,000 per month.
Okay.
And the deposit is less than 100,000. You just come and put that, give you 12 years. And by the time 1 year is over, Ashley, let me tell you, you realize that nothing much has happened in the country or somewhere else. Time moves too fast.
Okay.
Start now and start where you are.
All right. Thank you very much, Reuben Kimani, who is the CEO of Username Investments. Always a pleasure having you here on KTN Business Today.
Thank you, Ashley. And it was very difficult for me to own property.
Yes.
So we changed focus, and based on our passion in the sector, we came in. And over a period of time from 2013 when we started property, we have done a lot.
Yes, and I want us to talk about your portfolio, because from 2016 you had 4 projects, but in 2017 they jumped to 18 projects. How exactly did you do this?
I remember one time we attended a seminar in Naivasha, an entrepreneurship seminar. It's always good to be hungry for knowledge as an entrepreneur. So you read books and attend seminars. This seminar, one of the things we learned was about scaling up a business. Stop doing the small thing, think big, and do everything possible to be able to move from maybe 4 projects to 18 projects. What we basically did, we came together and asked ourselves, how can we move from doing projects worth 10 million shillings to $1 million for one project? So we came together and looked. So the first thing we asked ourselves is, how much inventory do we need? How many plots do we need to offer to the market? And that's how we came into being. And one of the hardest things I remember, because in the office that you are in, it's that kind of an office where it's face me. And it is very small. I think this room is too big.
Yes.
Very small, such that if you have to leave that corner, someone has to wake up. Almost everyone in the office
Bumper to bumper.
has to wake up.
Yes.
So you are that small, 4 people. But in 2016, we decided to change that.
Okay.
And I remember so well, the first project that we tried to do was quite a bigger project, like 5 times at that point in time. And it came with so many difficulties. We had to look for land everywhere.
Yeah.
And the way we structure our products in Username is that we have to offer something that is very potential. We also have to ensure that it is affordable, a range of 50 to about 400,000.
Okay.
We also have to ensure that you add value. It was a very complicated mix at that point in time. And we also had to ensure that we get enough capital.
All right.
Trying to get, you used to do project worth 5 million, now you are looking for 50 million. It was so difficult, but we did it.
Okay.
We had to regroup, look for funds from friends. We visited, of course, banks, and it's, you know the story, it's very difficult to get funds there. But we also found a way, some innovative way to ensure that the landowner can partner with us, and we're able to do a much bigger project.
Yes.
So maybe a minute from we were 4, now we are 32 in a span of less than 2 years, 4 projects to 18 projects also. And we have moved from giving, I think at that point in time we had given about 200 titles. Okay. Right now we have done 4,000 in a span of 2 years.
All right.
It has been a journey of learning, but we really pushed ourselves and it worked.
So what makes it so different from other property investments?
I would say when we came into the market, and I would give a history, we are basically engineers. Engineers are taught to solve problems.
Okay.
So when we came into this market, as Username, and as you can see the name, we ask ourselves, how can we be different, offer value for what is for what the customer gets. And remember, we are looking at 3 things so that we are able to offer that value. We are looking at properties that can reach everyone. I would say majority of the population. Okay. And we have offered a property for as low as 95,000. A property that is in potential areas. Areas we believe in the next 5 years, 10 years will grow. So we basically like work backwards. Like if you look at the road 5-10 years ago, how it was, properties were going for as low as 180,000. As here in Kamakis, right now is like 4 million where you can build your house. Very 7 years ago. So we work backwards and research on those places we believe will become residential hotspot in the next 5 to 10 years. That's why we put our customer and our investor. The last thing, we add value to them to ensure that you get them as a package. Other organizations might not be able to offer that. In my own experience, they'll offer properties that are value added but very expensive, in potential area but very expensive, properties that are affordable, but you find them in very far places. You may go to Sudan looking for a plot. It's quite far. So we bring all those aspects together as a package, then you offer our customers.
All right. Earlier on you mentioned, of course, one of your aims is to settle Kenyan youths into affordable homes. And of course, your data says that you've sold around 4,000 properties, if I'm not wrong. Are all these sold to youths?
I would say if you look at the statistics we have in the office, our definition of youth is quite broad, 20 to 40 years. But if you check the records, you realize that majority are between 25 and 35 years.
What percentage?
I would say 50% are less than youth who are aged less than 30 years. Yes.
All right. And of course, as a startup, going to most of them do not reach their second birthday. How was it for you? How was the journey? As you said, it had so many challenges, from loans to, you know, just getting to know the niche. How was it for you as in investments, Username Investments?
Thank you so much. I believe one of the things that have enabled Username to grow to the level it is today, we came in and realized for us to be able to offer valuable product, competitive products, what we needed to do is to maybe deliberately make this property affordable. What we did is look at the whole thing of business and see how you can reduce the margin so that we look at volumes instead of margin. What happened is that we reduced our prices below the competition, but we were able to offer so many people opportunities to own the same properties. Like I would give an example of products you have done in Gong. You go there, we're offering a property at 249,000, but if you look at the actual value of that property, it's about 400,000.
Okay.
And other people are also selling. So when you come for open days, we do open days and site visits, which are quite an experience. You should come for one.
Yes.
When you come, you realize this property is very strategic, but is being offered below market rate. So people are able to partake. And as Username, we also measure our progress by impact. That's why we are looking at delivering so many things in a short time, so many titles in a short time, to be able to give as much impact as possible.
Right.
But those customers are also able to make us maybe invest in other bigger projects. But we take a very small margin, but when you have 1,000 customers per month investing with you, even if the margin are smaller, at the end of the day, the margin is good enough to move to the next more valuable product that you'd like to offer.
So what does it take for someone to own property? For example, let's say I want to get property from you. What does it take?
For the benefit of the viewers out
Yes.
there, the first thing you have to do is ensure that you look for a company that is reliable, that is established in the market.
Yes.
Because of people have already realized that property is one of the areas where you can do investment. Ensure that you get the highest gain with very small effort. You just need to put in your money.
Okay.
But it's also, I know it's also very risky. So you should look for an established organization that have a record of completed projects.
Okay.
So that you come with confidence. You should also look for organizations that are offering value. When I say value, organizations that are offering properties that can give you value in many years. If you buy a property in very interior places, if you buy it at 200,000, it will be 200,000 for a long time.
Okay.
So you have to check those companies that have records of offering properties that grow in value over time, and we do it in Username via a lot of research.
Okay.
The other thing, of course, is financing. There are so many ways of financing which you may not exhaust in this session.
Yes.
But one of the things I've seen most people do, the moment you are employed, join a circle immediately. The moment you are employed, start saving immediately. The moment you get employed, start getting those per diems, those bonuses, those overtimes that people get, pulling them together.
Yeah.
At some point in time when you come to Username, we'll give you a property, for example, in Konza that we are doing at a certain price. We are giving it at 349,000, but you can be able to deposit 145,000.
How big is that property?
The property is basically it's basically 400 portions of neither of an acre and some few quarters and half acres. We are offering it at 349,000 with 359,000 with an offer.
Yes.
And we are giving someone an opportunity to pay as little as 27,000 per month over a period of 20 months to be able to afford that property. I would say that is one of the properties that is, I would say, expensive in quotes in our company.
Okay.
Because more than 70% of our properties are below 200,000.
All right. So for someone who's been through the entrepreneurship journey, of course, it's still continuing. But of course, there are people who are watching and they're still at the baby stage when they're starting.